Hey, everybody. Welcome. As always, I think we're live. Again, I'm not so super tech savvy, so hopefully we are. Um, it's great to be here with you all. This is our August Facebook Live. We do this quarterly where I hop online and answer any live questions you guys have or any emailed questions. And you guys have been great as always. I printed them out and we'll get a chance if we don't have any live questions um, to answer those for you guys. So, just to take a minute, I wanted to say how much I've been enjoying our Zoom masterclasses. They have been truly incredible. I know that they're not live, but just we've had a chance to have so many people from around the world be able to join us from Japan and Australia, China, Russia, all over Europe and elsewhere. And it's been such a joy to be with you all. So as things, well, as they were loosening up with COVID, but as hopefully they continue to get better or start getting better again, I am going to be doing some live master classes coming up. So hopefully those will be great fun here in DC, and I'll let you guys know about that. But we're going to continue the Zoom master classes too, because I know that they've been such a joy, hopefully for you as they have been for me. So all events are on my events page of my website, findingyourvoice.com. I do have one live workshop scheduled right now for November. It's actually a public speaking class. So please don't hesitate again to hop onto the website, take a look, learn more about it, and if you'd like to register and to join us. Um, okay, so I'm going to hop right into your questions. These were emailed and messaged to me. But of course, if anybody has any questions live, please don't hesitate to send them my way. So the first one from Marilyn is, how do you express the meaning of the songs you sing? Do you have a technique for that? And Marilyn is a really great jazz and cabaret singer. I don't know that I necessarily have a technique per se that I think about. It's nothing like a 1 + 1 = 2 kind of equation for me. That's true of technique too. I think of the way I learn and engage with my voice as more of an intuitive and hopefully integrated process. But in terms of expressing the meaning of the songs I sing and any specific approach, I've always been a big believer in beginning with lyrics. So if you start with a song and think of it as a monologue, if you look at the lyrics and think about them as working them through in the way that you would if you were speaking a monologue, or frankly, if you were just communicating them conversationally, that's going to give you a good bit of grounding in how it might be best to go about approaching how you would then move that communication into singing. And then, of course, separately from that, and in addition to it, to really let the music guide you in how the song feels and how the music is speaking to you in terms of how it wants you to speak the piece. So, those two things, bringing them together, working them separately to some extent, not because I think compartmentalization is a good idea per se, but because I think that they each on their own will illuminate different things. And then when you bring them together, I think that they'll really highlight more of a broad landscape of what's possible in communicating a song. So I hope that answered your question, Marilyn. Moving on to the next question, and again, welcome to those of you who are joining us, and please don't hesitate to put any questions in the comments, and I'll do my best to answer them. Lauren has written in, and actually, she and I have been chatting about this kind of for a while, but she thought this would be a helpful question, I think, for you all. I'm confused about the whole belt mix head thing. Can you please clarify? And if those of you who are singers out there, you may be in the same boat. As always, I want to qualify this by saying I'm one opinion. I've written about this topic quite a bit in my books, and I certainly When I'm coaching or giving master classes, this comes up quite a bit. Um, but in my view, it's best to let the voice show us first what it can do before we bring language to the table and bring the intellect to the table. So, for example, if I were to just go woo with my voice, um, technically speaking, I move from chest to a mix to a head. Woo! Without any kind of an audible break or a shift. And that is how the voice, again, in the absence of language, in the absence of the intellectual analysis of it, in the absence of trying to hold and control, uh, by, to observe what's going on, the voice moves pretty fluidly through those various, what we'll call registers. I think the problems come when we start the other way. Instead of starting with, oh, my voice can move pretty fluidly through those things without me intellectually thinking about it, without me muscularly engaging it or trying to shift those things. When we begin instead with, okay, what is my chest voice? What is my mixed voice? What is my head voice? And then we try to feel them distinctly, and then we try to bring them together artificially. I think we end up creating the very experiential physical distinctions that coming full circle we're trying to avoid. So my advice would be, about the whole belt mix head thing, to use Lauren's question. I think it's best to use some exercises, play with your voice, whether it's in speaking or whether you're doing things like sliding all over the place, to really let your voice move around naturally, to have it flow and to witness how it moves on its own through these various registers, what it can do. Try to make a habit of those things. Try to create those engagements frequently so that your body can get confident in, oh, this is just how we move our voices. This is how singing is done. This is how moving through these registers works. And then once that's become pretty physically solid, where even if you're thinking, will this work? Will I hear a break? When your body's strong enough to kind of go in spite of that nagging suspicion, then I think it's time that you can bring in the intellect to say, well, how is this working? How can I move from a chest voice to a mixed voice to a head voice? And you can watch it and allow it rather than try to make a chest voice, make a mixed voice, make a head voice, which, as you can even see from my kind of faking through it, there's physical changes I'm making and physical distinctions I'm creating in an effort to acknowledge these three different things that honestly exist in reality as one fluid, beautiful voice that has these minor little shift point positions, that are not nearly as problematic, or even as large, as we make them out to be by labeling them chest, mix, head, or falsetto is another way of saying head voice. So, Lauren and others, I hope that answers your question. Um, and now moving on, I have one more emailed in question. It's actually, it wasn't so much of a question. She did ask me personally a question about it, but she sent, this is Kelly, and she sent a beautiful email, and I just wanted to share a part of it with you, that leads to a really great point that we can chat about. And it's about her relationship with singing and our relationship with singing. And she says, relationship with singing, you've talked about this before, and we've talked about it in the master classes. But for some reason, it hit me today listening to your being interviewed in the podcast. I was interviewed in a podcast last week, and there are links all over the place. I thought about my relationship with singing. It seems what has happened over the years is that I lost my relationship with singing, and it became a relationship with the technical aspects of singing. This was a real light bulb turning on for me. Singing is a part of me, but the technical teaching seems to have separated singing into a thing that sits outside of me. So, Kelly, if you're listening, thank you so much for your generosity in allowing me to share that. it applies obviously to Lauren's point about head, mix, and chest. And it applies, I see it every day working with you all in classes and in private sessions. Yes, I think that, again, when we're young and we sing and we're young and we do anything, frankly, we just engage, we just do, uninhibited, unencumbered by thoughts and judgments. We just engage and interact. And as a result, those processes flow, whether we're walking or singing or laughing or dancing. The body engages. And again, uninhibited by our thoughts about the process, what that means, whether we have a right to do it, whether we're good at it. But as we get older, and certainly too, when we begin training as singers, but this is true, of course, for dancers, gymnasts, athletes, insert anything we care about here, because I think our egos and pride do get involved. I think that we, certainly in my experience in vocal training, we begin to prioritize the technical training. We start to focus on that. We start to try to understand that. We start to try to think our way through it. And we reach for that and leave behind our physical, intuitive, and languageless knowing that is so important. Because without that foundation, our technique becomes kind of, as Kelly's saying, an outside of ourselves experience. So in my practice, and certainly in my books, I talk quite a lot about the importance of really beginning with and always leading with your physical knowing. Instead of trying to figure out how to breathe or how to support, watch how your body breathes. Just observe it. And it might take some time, because even in the process of observation, our intellects and our technique tries to grab onto it. Okay, well, how am I doing that? How's that working? Take time and watch how your body breathes without manhandling it, without getting involved. How is my body breathing? When I speak, how does the voice engage? How does the support happen? Really watch your body. Let yourself sing and pay attention to how your voice is moving. And then begin, when you decide to train, when you decide to develop, begin both with that physical knowing and the confidence that comes from, I use this instrument all day, every day. Even when I'm sleeping, I'm breathing, But also begin with a confidence that comes from any knowledge that I want to take on needs to be done with a sense of confidence that I'm the one taking it in, I'm the one integrating it. Learning technique or anything isn't about reaching outside of ourselves, extending fearfully into the unknown. It's about, here's what I know, here's what I have, here's what my body and my voice do. How can I grow in wonder? How can I expand? How can I learn? So I hope, Kelly, that helps to answer your question. Of course, all the books talk about it. We can certainly, in master classes and elsewhere, talk about it more too. So those are the email questions I have. Oh, hi, Alexandra. We have another question. Does our vocal range change as we get older? Thank you. That's a good question. There's like many of your questions, there's a variety of opinions about that. What does happen with age, our muscle tone changes, the same physiological changes that happen to us elsewhere throughout our body, both externally and internally. Those changes occur internally as well. That said, there are some people that move through the aging process and notice little to no difference in their voice tone and quality, and others who notice it very early on. Women, for example, when they go through the change, the hormonal changes and fluctuations often cause a variety of vocal concerns, everywhere from a looser vibrato because of a shift in sort of the hydration, for lack of a better word, of the vocal folds, some muscle tone, various other things going on in the body. But to your question specifically, Alexandra, about vocal range, that different people have different things to say about that. I think that what dictates our range from a structural point of view, is how fast and or slow the vocal folds vibrate. And of course, there are other things going on. There's our ability to be strong enough to support that vibration. So there's both, can we hit the note and can we sustain it? There's also confidence. I'm big into the psychology of singing. So as we get older, if we start to think, is my range lessening? We might very well approach certain parts of our range or songs differently than we would have 20 years prior. So is it that our range is lessening, or is it our wariness causes us to sing certain songs or exercises differently? So the short answer to that long explanation to your great question is, it really depends. It depends on the person. It depends on our health. It depends on the medications we take. It depends on the interaction of certain medications we take. It depends on our gender. It depends on what's going on hormonally within us. It depends on our hydration. It depends on our physical health, et cetera, et cetera. And Alexandra's asking another question, a follow-up question. I'm 40 and I noticed that I have difficulty hitting some of the high notes that I could hit in high school. Okay, great. And Alexandra, thank you for sharing this with me and with all of us. Of course, without having heard you sing, just take this with a grain of salt. At 40, I just turned 47. My birthday was last week, and I don't notice any difference in my voice, and I'm one person. But I would think, grain of salt, caveat, caveat. I don't think unless there's something hormonal going on or something structural going on, perhaps like nodules, pre-nodules, there's been some yelling. Unless there's something structural going on with the vocal folds, perhaps something hormonal going on, certain medication interactions, stress or dehydration, I don't think, I would think that you would be able to hit those notes. I vote that you could hit those notes. And I would be very curious. Please, oh, you're welcome. That's so kind. Please keep me posted and really email me. I'd be happy to just hop on and give a quick listen and give you just some thoughts. But my gut would say at that age, there's either something environmental or medicinal or something going on, but it's probably not age related specifically. So that's hopefully great news. And really do please keep me posted. So if anyone else has a question, please pop them in there. If not, that's all the emailed questions, the 3 emailed questions I had from you guys. And again, if you joined in late or you missed part of this, all of these videos are available on Facebook and on YouTube later. I even go through and kind of put each topic. So if you don't have a lot of time, you can say, oh yeah, I want to know about, aging and singing, or about head and chest voice. So with that said, I think we'll sign off here in a bit. Thank you all, those of you live and those of you coming in soon to watch, or later in a couple months or whatever. Thank you so much. Again, I do these quarterly. I think it's the first Monday of every month. So that means November, whatever the first Monday of November is, I'll be back here again. And again, if you can join us live and like Alexandra, want to ask some questions in real time, that's great. If you can't make it, or maybe don't want to share some personal information, feel free to email me or message me prior. Alexandra's asking for my email. Let me put it in the comments, and also I'll tell you it's info@findingyourvoice.com. And the website is findingyourvoice.com, and you can find me there, and a million ways to contact me, and articles and books and things. So, and also feel free, guys, to go to the events page. It'll have future dates for these and master classes, which are on Zoom, but we're going to have some live. And thank you again so much, Alexandra, for your great questions, and Kelly and Lauren and Marilyn for you guys sending in your questions before. I really appreciate it. And yeah, best wishes, guys. Have a great rest of your summer, and I'll look forward to seeing you guys soon. Take care.